Hi, welcome back to the channel, and I'm glad y'all tuned in today. And in this section of the video, I want to talk about the shaky head, and let's go over some of the hooks I like to use, the line and gear, and we'll be right back. Y'all stay tuned.
Take that out a little bit.
Alright, welcome back. Shaky head has become one of my most favorite baits to use year round. It's not the best in every situation, but in a lot of situations it is the best. And I just realized that I didn't get none of my worms out. Let me get my worms. Alright, so first things first. You gotta have a rod and reel, so let's do that first. I like to throw my shaky heads on two different setups, really, depending on what I'm using it for and where I'm using it. The first setup is what everybody, if you haven't ever done the technique or ever used shaky head, is some kind of medium rod with a fast tip. Okay, I personally like a 7-foot rod. You can do probably won't go no shorter than a 6'6" rod, 2500 or 3000 series reel, 15 to 20 pound braid, and depending on what I'm fishing, I go between 8 and 12 pound fluorocarbon leader. If I'm and we'll get to that in just a second on the weight of the hooks. But this is a Fenwick. This is a 7-foot medium fast Fenwick rod. Okay, I got the 3000, the C3000 HG Nazca reel. Love this little reel, it's awesome. But anyway, you're just getting into shaky head fishing. Your standard spinning combo is what you want to go with. Then the next setup I use, especially in the summertime, or I'm throwing a little bit bigger shaky head, like a Magnum shaky head, or I'm just fishing a lot of heavy cover, is a 7-foot. This is a 7-foot medium heavy moderate fast action rod. Okay, I got a 3000 series. Both of these reels are going to be in the 6:2 gear ratio. This is an Abu Garcia Elite Max. It's been an awesome reel. Got 20 pound braid and a 15 pound fluorocarbon leader. Okay, that's what I use for a little bit heavier setup. If I ain't trying to be real finesse with it, summertime shaky head and it's fast, throwing in a lot of heavy cover, and I need something to get them out. And a lot of people's like, well, if you're going to do it in that caliber, rod and reel and line size, why not bait casting? You can. Me personally, I like throwing my shaky heads on the spinner reel because the way you use a shaky head and how you work a shaky head, to me it's a little bit more finesse feeling on the spinner rod. I don't consider these fairy sticks. This is a tool just like everything else you have in bass fishing. Any kind of job that you do or anything that you use, everything's a tool and has its own purpose. So to me, I like the spinning reels for a lot of my shaky head fishing. Like I said, I get a little bit more, just the way you work it's a little bit more finesse. It just feels better. All right, so that being said, with the rod and reels, let's talk about the hooks, because the next thing you got to have is a hook. Okay. A worm ain't gonna do you no good without a hook. So there's really only 3 types of hooks that I use. The first one that I really like the most, and it seems to work better with your last tech worms. I've used them on my regular plastol baits as well, like the trick worm and all, is the SMH Shaky Head by Brian Latimer with Z-Man. This is a really good hook. All my hooks that I use, if I'm not using a Magnum Shaky Head, if anything I use the most of is a 3/16. Unless you're going deeper than 10 feet, then you want to step up your weight. But 3/16 is generally what I use the most of. These are good hooks. I get a lot of bites on these, and they great penetration and good hookup ratio on the SMH Shaky Head hook by Z-Man. Alright. The next one I go to, if I can't get that, I'll go to Academy or order them offline, is the Owner Screw Lock. Now I only use this one for plastisol baits. Okay, I only use that for that deal because it's hard to get that plastisol, that Last-Tech material to screw on. So this is primarily standard plastic baits. The Owner Shaky Head, again, 3/16, quarter ounce. I go in between there. If I use a 1/8, then that's very shallow, but I very rarely use 1/8 because I like the 3/16 the best. You can get those in 2 different colors. I don't know if they make a black one. They probably do, but you can get the standard, lead head if you want that. And then the next one I get, and I got one more to show you, just in case I can't get this particular one. Is Jewel Baits. You can get this at Walmart or online. It's got this little keeper here. You can just pop that bait over it. It holds pretty decent. Like I said, if I can't get either the 2 that I just showed you, I just picked these up at Walmart. These work great for soft plastics and Last-Tech. It's got a good sharp hook on it. Again, 3/16 in size. That's generally what I use from 10 foot or less. Again, anything that's 10 foot or deeper you shake your head in, you might want to go up to a quarter ounce. But that's a good shaky head hook there. And the last one I use, if I can't get none of those, I'm in a pinch, is the Buckeye Lures Shaky Head. And that's a screw lock again, but it's a smaller profile hook. It's more smaller profile, and it's like a 2/0 hook on there. I think the Z-Man's a 3/0. But this one will get you by, and it does very well. The Buckeye screw lock hooks. Alright, so with that being said on that deal, baits. Okay, I got 2 different baits that I use the most of. And I'll just use that. It's going to be, I use a trick worm too, but my go-tos are Z-Man and 6 cents. Alright, so I'll show you the Z-Man worms first. And I'm sure y'all seen them all. These got hot and they got stuck together and melted all up, but fish will still bite them. They're very stretchy for one, and 2, like I said, you can't really screw them. You can, but it just takes a little bit of effort. You've got to really push it on there and twist, and to me that's just aggravating and time consuming. So I just keep this style on me. Okay, something that I can push in. Go about 1/4 inch into your hook or in your bait with a hook, and then you can pop it over that barb like that right there, and then stick your bait into the bait, or stick your hook into the bait right there. So these baits are very, very soft. So when a fish bites it, it don't take nothing to get that hook to go through that bait. Okay. All right. So, and for the jewel baits, all right. So you do the same thing, 1/4 inch down, pop the hook through the head of the bait, and you see I can just pull that bait over. Okay, then stick it into the bait like that. All right, so there's your shaky head setup. Okay, and that's on the jewel bait. See how it sits on there? All right, that works very well. All right, now like I said again, these are the Z-Man SMH worms. All right, these were designed specifically for these style shaky head hooks, but you can put them on these any hook you want to. If you want to screw it on here, take the time to screw it on there, you can do that as well. They hold really good. Like I said, I just like them better on the barb style, just because of the way the material is. All right, so the Z-Man, not the Z-Man, the 6 Sense products I use a lot, especially in the summertime when you want a bigger profile worm. And again, both of these baits suspend in the water. They will stand straight up. I think this one falls down really slow, but the Z-Man stays straight up, and that's a big deal, you know, in highly pressured waters. And we'll get to that in just a second. But anyway, they both stay up. Okay. All right. So again, you can take this bait, and it's got all these ribs in there, so that you know it displaces a lot of water. And you just take this bait, screw it on your screw lock like so. Okay. And you take it and just gauge it, and then stick it in. Boom, like that right there. All right. And just kind of work it back and forth to where that hook can just move in that bait really easy, because when you set the hook, you ain't driving it really hard because you're using spinning tackle gear, unless you're using that medium heavy, that heavy line. But you just want to lean into them. You don't want to pop it hard because of your leader knot. You want to bust that knot. And I forgot to mention that your leader knot, I use Alberto knot. Use any knot you want to. The Alberto knot is very easy for me, so that's what I use, and it's very strong. Do not underestimate that knot. It's a very strong knot. But anyway, and that's how you set up those style baits on that style hook. Okay. Now I don't have any on me at the moment, but matter of fact I do. I'll show you that real quick. The trick worms, I'll show you that one real quick on how I rig it, because I do use a trick worm time to time, especially I like the net baits. That's another one I forgot to mention. I don't have any on me at the moment, but the net bait shaky head, matter of fact, let me grab some and I'll show you what that looks like. All right, so the net baits, I love them. Okay, pull these out real quick. All right, net baits, love these worms. The T-Mac, okay, and it's got that bait fuel in it, and it's supposed to have scent. All right, so that net bait, it's like a trick worm. It may be a little longer, but it's no different than a trick worm. And what's great about the net baits, they got a square end on it just for shaky head type situation. So I take the net baits, and this is a plastic saw bait. Okay, the T-Mac, 1/4 inch down, pop it through, and see how that is. All right. You can't tell me that's not a good looking rig. I would eat that. If it was edible, I would eat that. Besides, I would take the hook out. That's that's a good looking bait in the water. It really is. My wife catches a lot of fish on this setup. Okay, so that's how you do that one. Screw lock deal, you can put these on a screw lock as well. Like I said, if you don't have the T-Mac, you can use the Zoom trick worm. Just bite the point of it off a little bit so it'll be flat. Okay, and there you go. And that's screw lock deal. And like I said, the jewel baits, you just pop that plastic over that little keeper right there. And the only problem with the jewel baits is, I'll show you with this worm here. After you pop that over this, you see how it splits it? That's the only downfall of that. Okay, but in a pinch, and that's all I got, that's what I use. It's so thick, which I done broke this one a little bit putting it on these other hooks, but it'll split it open just a little bit, and once it splits open, You want to re-rig the worm, just bite that end off right there and re-rig it. And a little bit shorter, it ain't going to affect the fish biting, okay? All right, so showed you all those. Now, what else is there? Technique. So basically, what I use a shaky head for is when it's really slow or there's a lot of pressure. That's when I pick up a shaky head. A lot of times when the fish are schooling shallow on bait fish, I'll flip a shaky head out there, and I've got a lot of bites doing that. Shaky head is a good presentation because that worm's staying straight up, bouncing across rocks, clay bottom. It doesn't work so well on grass because it's down in that grass. You want to use a different lure for that. But it works great for bare bottoms, around rock, around laydowns and stuff. As far as weedlessness, is fairly weedless. Trying to say that word right. But it's not 100%, okay? It ain't like a Texas rig, so you need to be very careful. If it's really, really thick, I wouldn't flip it in it. I'll flip it around it, cast around it, and fish around the laydowns or brush or whatever it is. But the profile it gives off, a worm standing straight up and just bouncing across the bottom. That tail's doing that. You can drag it slowly, bounce it fast, bounce it slow. You don't have to sit there and shake it like it's saying shaky head. That's just the name it got. But you can sit there and dead stick it and give it a little shake or whatever. Figure out what the fish want, and they absolutely destroy this thing. I've caught more fish personally on a shaky head than I have on a wacky rig. Granted, I don't fish a wacky rig as much as I should, but my go-to, man, is a shaky head. I just get bit on it. I get bit on it. So give that a try this fall. Like I said, around bait fish up shallow that bass are busting on, flip your shaky head up there. Green pumpkin. I mean, I've used the let's see if I can pull it out real quick. The Smoke Purple by SMH Z-Man. It's shaking my head worms. The Smoke Purple, man, they killed that. And you also got these style, the what is this? The bang sticks. These things get bit too. You know, it's just a stick worm with a little bit of. I'll pull one out and show you real quick. You can put this on the shaky head as well. It's got this little deal on the top up here. Okay, and it just moves around in the water. It's like little, just something that looks different. You can throw them on a shaky head as well. Any kind of stick bait you can put on a shaky head, creature bait, anything you can put on a shaky head. But these stick worms work. I use the most of them. But like I said, give them a try this fall. Flip it around stuff. Normally, like you do with Texas rigs, a different presentation. That worm staying up in the water column. The Zoom trick worms don't float as good because they're heavy bait with a lot of salt in them. The T-Mac, the T-Mac worms by net bait, the 6 cent and the Z-Man, SMH worms, they stay up. They'll stand straight up. So give that a try this fall and this spring coming and into the summer, and I promise you, with the right combination of line, rod, and reel, you'll get you some good bites on shaky head and get you some good hooks. Like I said, the owner and the SMH shaking my head hooks are by far my personal favorites, and that's what I go to first. If you can't get that, go to Walmart, get you the Jewel baits or the Buckeye. Those two are good hooks as well. So thanks for watching, and we'll see y'all at the next one. God bless.